Welcome everyone to the inaugural episode of Theater of Blood, a horror-filled podcast for the horror lover, for the horror connoisseur in you. I am your co-host Anthony.
I'm your co-host Matt, and here we're going to be talking about everything horror. Not just film, books, comics,
television,
style, memorabilia, everything. If you're into horror, we want to make this a home for you.
Exactly. This will be a bi-monthly, I believe, horror show.
What did you call me?
Right, yeah. It's going to be twice a month horror show. We're going to have special guests, which will be coming up probably in a couple episodes.
Yeah, very
We're
short.
going to have giveaways, contests, and we want to make this unique. We want to hopefully draw a big following. We will eventually be putting this on iTunes and all the other podcast places.
Correct.
We're going to start a Facebook group to have fun there. And Matt and I are dear friends, and we're horror connoisseurs. We're not just... what am I trying to say here? We're not fair weather horror fans.
I think the fair way to tell this story is how we even met in the first place and became friends.
That's right.
I came to a Halloween party that him and his lovely wife were throwing, and actually got to talking to her first, being the drag along with somebody else. So I started talking to her, and we mentioned a few horror films, and one of my favorites of all time, Dario Argento's Suspiria, and she said, well, if you know Suspiria, you know what you're talking about, and you need to meet my husband. At that point, I thought to myself, oh, here we go, another guy who
Another
claims
schlub
he
who
loves
thinks he
horror.
knows something. Right.
Yeah, and then he's going to tell me all about, the recent crap fest that
Yeah.
been on.
Did you see the Nightmare on Elm Street remake? That was awesome.
Oh, my God. Wait, there was an original?
What's your favorite Friday the 13th?
And I'd say within minutes, both of our eyes widened,
Yeah.
and we realized that we were really in love shortly after he divorced that wife. And we
Indeed,
were now
right.
together.
Yeah, right.
No.
That's false, everybody.
No. But we did realize how much we enjoyed the genre and how we had found someone with a wealth of knowledge and respect for one another very quickly at that point.
Yeah, I had the equal thoughts, as she brought you over to me. I'm like, oh, Jesus. Yeah, another one of these. Yeah, we'll see, buddy.
Yeah.
And then out of the gate, we were both Argento.
Yeah. Started out with Argento
And if you
went everywhere from there.
Yeah, if you start out with Argento, just meeting somebody talking about horror, then you know your shit.
Right. You're starting at a good point.
If you don't have to be led to Argento, yeah, you know your shit.
Yeah.
And that's the story of how we met. And we've been wanting to make a movie together for a long time.
Yes.
In between, Matt made a short film.
I have. It's called Pieces of a Nightmare. It is currently entered into several film festivals. A knock on wood that we do well there and get into a few.
That's not what he knocked on, so I hope he makes it.
Well, knock on plyboard. It's got wood composite in it.
It does, yes.
And, I also did a short fake trailer that was inspired by Grindhouse, which we saw together at the Uptown
Indeed,
Theater
for the first time, yes.
in our good old city of Washington, D.C.
And we're going to do a show about.
Yeah, we definitely should. And, we've both been working on projects in our time off together, and we've decided to do one together.
Yeah, I've been doing a lot of writing while he was making movies. I'm if I may brag as well, I'm a published writer of horror and Dark Discoveries magazine.
Dark Discoveries.
I wrote a few reviews for them. I used to write for hellnotes.com. And then we came back together after life got in the way for a while. And now we're making a movie. And you'll be hearing about that probably every frickin' show you listen to.
and
giving you updates.
And we're looking for suggestions for whatever the end of the title will be. So we know it's Debbie Does...
Yes, and
what?
Scene. Yeah. Oh, wait, this is the horror podcast.
No, that's...
All right, folks. But anyway, yes, we're going to make movies together. We're both, in very minuscule ways, but for us, big ways. We're both accomplished. We write, we direct. We're learning to edit. And we love horror. And all of you love horror. And We hope that these shows will be entertaining, informative. We hope we bring you to stuff you haven't heard of, or maybe, I heard that wasn't very good. But hey, these guys said it was alright, so maybe I'll check it out.
Right. Yeah, we're trying to get people to formulate their own opinions about certain films that may not be known at all.
Yeah.
Or may have a negative connotation because it was watched by an audience that isn't a horror fanatic like you guys.
Yes, exactly. And here's two of the biggest personal goals I have with this particular podcast, Theater of Blood. By the way, Matt named it Theater of Blood. I love the title. It's fantastic. One of Vincent Price's greatest films. There's probably a lot of people out there like, oh, I haven't heard of that. I'll check that out. Here's my two biggest goals with what we just talked about, bringing something to light for you listeners. Number one, to make people realize that Halloween 3 is a near masterpiece. And number two, to make people realize that the Friday the 13th series sucks.
I don't quite agree with the second statement. Friday the 13th has its own love for me. I did grow up in the era that it was doing its heyday. So that was televised on television, and other than Universal Monsters, one of the first things that I was exposed to. It did create a love of slasher films for me, which I do love.
No, I love them too, yeah.
Yeah, and
I grew up when those things were in the theater. And I saw 1 through 5 in the theater. Yeah, I didn't give up. I'm a horror fan.
And you have to.
And
say
then after
4
5, I
probably,
gave up.
You know, 4 gave you a chance to like it again.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And in 5, I gave up going to the theater. I'm like, all right, that's it, you sons of bitches. You're not getting me again. I've seen them all, but 5 was the last one.
You ain't getting my $1.50.
That's right.
And what we do to go back to when movies were $1.50.
Jeez, I used to gripe, by the way, when I started driving, and in high school, and was going to movies by myself, and R-rated ones. And are you kidding me? It just went up to $4.75 at night. I can't afford that. I'm a cook.
Yeah. That is, you're paying for a live performance.
$4.75 buys nothing.
No.
Anymore at a theater, yeah. But anyway, no, as you can see, we love horror. I actually very quickly wrote a published piece, thank you, on, I called it Debunking the Myth, a true review of the Friday the 13th film series. I'll post it on our Facebook page once we get it rolling.
I'm willing to bet it has something to do with Tom Savini's statement about Jason himself.
That statement is in there at the beginning and the end of it.
Yeah, kind of bookends it.
It does. Yeah. And I tell you, I think you know where I'm coming from. Hence the title, Debunking the Myth.
Right. And it's funny. A lot of people don't even realize that Jason was not the antagonist of the initial film.
No, he wasn't.
I bet you dream sequence at the end.
Here's a phrase I hate. I bet you dollars to donuts. I don't know what that means, but that if you asked 50 people who's the killer in Friday the 13th, 49 would say Jason.
I'm willing to bet you're right. There are a lot of people that just haven't seen the first film. They associate Friday the 13th with the Jason mask. And that mask actually didn't even come into Jason's possession until the third film.
The third one, yeah.
The one in 3D with the great cheesy horror soundtrack.
In super 3D.
Oh, that soundtrack. Come on. Even if you don't like that movie, that soundtrack is awesome.
Well,
it's almost
anyway,
cheesy beautiful as the Creepshow soundtrack. It's got
that
humor
there.
With the horror.
You just insulted one of the greatest horror soundtracks ever written.
It did it tongue-in-cheek, as did Friday the 13th Part 3. At least its main theme.
I will say this, and I do say this in the piece, and all you people will be able to read it soon. It is an iconic theme.
The Friday the 13th Part 3? Yeah. Down.
Yeah, not that.
I mean, it's
not
straight,
the disco
part. It's like an 80s, but that's what I'm talking about. That
I know
theme,
you are.
The 80s
I know
disco.
You are. Yeah.
It's almost borderline hilarious.
Yeah, you're right.
Yep.
I don't want borderline hilarious in my scary movies. That's not true.
No.
That's not true at all.
John Landis,
Yeah.
anyone?
Yeah, exactly. Well, as you can see, we're going to be talking about everything, and this is the way it'll go, folks. I'll warn you now, boils and ghouls. When we start, we're not just going to come on, this is our subject, and here we go, We're going to ease into you like a real radio show. Ease you into our subject, but
Ease into you?
yeah, I just caught that. That's why I rephrased it. My apologies. I do not support Trump. That had nothing to do with locker room talk.
No political affiliations.
Yeah,
here.
exactly.
Let's
The deepest political discussion we'll get into is whenever we talk about They Live.
Yeah. Which is very poignant in today's society.
Yes, it is. Yes.
Yeah.
And hey, when did Mike Judge's Idiocracy become a horror film?
I know.
Now.
I know.
Now.
It's like, what? This is real?
It's terrible.
On the next presidential debate /TMZ.
Exactly. Yeah. Oh my God.
So anyway, we're gonna do a show, right?
Exactly. Well, we're doing a show, and this is how it's done. Yeah.
Okay.
The hosts come in, they banter a bit, and then they get to their thing. But yeah, no. We welcome everyone to Theater of Blood, and we hope you will enjoy every show.
Yes.
And we
welcome.
hope, And if you love horror, I promise you, you're gonna love this show, because we are unbiased. We are.
It's true.
I'll
either like it or love it, and it doesn't depend on what the public thinks of it.
Exactly. And we agree on a lot, but there are there'll be some debates. I can already see one coming for the Friday the 13th series. But no, there'll be some debates, but Matt and I...
Though I never said great movies.
I know you didn't, and I know you
my
didn't.
Respect
I
for
understand, yeah. I tried. But yeah, we don't know, so we won't bore you with just constantly agreeing with each other. There'll be some debates. But what we're going to do is we're going to break down the horror genre. We're going to talk about all genres. We're going to talk about what's great, what's not great, what's terrible, what needs to go, what needs to come back, why they keep releasing horror movies not in October.
Why when one horror movie comes out, all of a sudden you get 35 of the same damn
exactly.
movie,
Why do all horror trailers look like the same movie no matter what they're about?
And show you everything that's going to happen in the film before the film's even released.
Exactly.
What happened in the days of trailers?
Exactly, yeah.
And poster art and respect for the...
And that's in movies in general. Yeah, just what happened. But anyway, that's what we're going to do for you. So sit back, relax,
Let yourself go. That's what you heard.
Here we go.
Act like you know. Yes, y'all.
Yeah, grab some popcorn, turn out the lights, and let's talk horror movies.
Here we
go. We're going to start out our very first show by polarizing our audience immediately. Or not polarizing, but splitting it down the middle.
Well, we're talking about a very polarizing director.
Exactly.
So I'd have to say that's pretty
this
apt.
Of all genre directors, this guy splits the horror lovers down the middle, I must say. He does. He's the only one to do it.
Yeah.
Nobody is as 50-50 as the loved/hated equally as our subject for today, Rob Zombie. Sorry. Rob Zombie. Horror filmmaker extraordinaire or overrated hack who should stay to music? Let's discuss it.
Well, either way, I think he's carved out a nice niche for himself in music and could have stayed in that forum completely, but decided on his own merit and personal love of horror. He is a horror fan himself.
A deep, deep, respectful love of horror.
He decided to take his hand at it. And he had already started a little bit with his music videos. He shot things and edited them himself.
All the way back to White Zombie.
Yeah, found his wife doing such.
He did, yeah.
Yeah. And,
she auditioned as a dancer.
Yep, Sherry Moon, who is...
Talk about polarizing.
Yeah, no. I mean, I've seen performances of hers that I've loved. I've seen performances of hers that I haven't liked so much.
And we're going to talk about each and every one of them because
Yeah.
she only works for her husband.
Right, but she, am I a fan? Yeah, absolutely.
Of
I'm a fan.
Zombie?
Of Sherry Moon.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, she's zombie, basically.
Yep.
Yeah, I know. Sherry Moon, I think she has now earned her place in, I don't want to say Scream Queen because she's never the Scream Queen, but
No,
in
usually
horror,
a stronger character.
yeah, in horror lore, she
Yeah.
belongs there.
No,
And
I
already
agree.
50% of our audience have said, "What the hell are you talking about?" But her husband, I've always loved him as a musician. I've always appreciated his style.
As have I.
He's in my
Like
top.
you said, even the White Zombie days.
Yeah, especially the White Zombie.
Thunderkiss 65.
Oh yeah, I was just listening to that today. He musically, he's in my top 15 rock and roll bands. Hard rock, metal, I guess.
Yeah,
Maybe top 10.
I'd put him almost as like a digital metal. Almost like
Well, he was part of that.
industrial.
Yeah, industrial. He was part of the White Zombie. Was part of the Ministry.
Yeah.
He's moved away from it his last few albums. There's always one song with that industrial sound,
Yeah.
but no, he's gotten harder since John Five, who used to play guitar for Manson.
I remember when he was like now starring John Five when I saw him
Yeah.
at Ozfest, which he quite often attends and
Yep.
will quite often be the lead show at the half stage,
Yeah.
which is where he's declared he liked to be. Instead of he could have been a headliner at any one of them. Instead, he does them often and headlines the second stage
Right.
and kills it. And really found his niche there.
Yeah, his concerts are like a big horror show. They're great.
Yeah,
They're great.
almost an Alice Cooper-esque
His idol.
run to him. Yeah,
His idol.
which you can see.
Yeah.
Zombie, we respect you, and we're going to talk about your films starting right
And now.
So let's begin. First film,
House of a Thousand Corpses.
House of a Thousand Corpses.
It actually sat on the shelf for a couple of years because the studio didn't know what the hell to do with it. And it's funny, they had no faith in it, and they gave it a nothing release, and it didn't make any money until video. But
And then it blew up.
now
Yeah.
at Universal Studios, there's a House of a Thousand Corpses haunted house thing.
Right. Really? Is there
Yeah.
at
Oh.
Universal Studios?
Yeah,
Oh,
I can't wait.
That's awesome.
In California only.
The whole Dr. Satan pit and all that.
I don't know. I haven't. Yeah, but it's there.
I gotta believe, but
Yeah.
he started off. I remember seeing previews for his film, and we were talking about trailers not giving everything away. It didn't. It just said that it was going to be grotesque, gruesome, raw, bloody, for true horror fans.
14 Acres of Hell.
Yep. And it was
Everything
a
you
trailer.
just said.
Yeah, it was a trailer that was visceral, and it gave me a feeling. It gave me some excitement, and I have seen so much horror, even at that point.
Yeah.
To say desensitized isn't true, but it's not false either. And when I see something that tickles me, that I can see something different in, it excites me. And it's very far and few in between nowadays that I really get excited for something new. And I saw that trailer and I said, that's going to be something new.
Yeah.
And I was not disappointed when I watched the film. Is it a perfect film? Is it an Oscar
No.
film? No.
But
But
before
did
we
it
get
show
into
me something new in an old-fashioned way?
Yeah, and real quick before we talk about the movie itself, I want to speak on what you just said perfectly, and that is what makes Rob Zombie great to me. There, we just tipped our hats. Everybody's like, "What do they think of Rob Zombie as a filmmaker?" But that's what makes him great for me. We've seen it all, you and I,
Yeah.
and any great horror fan has seen it all, and each and every one of his movies, good or bad, are tips of the hat to the movies that he loves.
Right.
Yet,
Completely original.
he makes it original
Yeah.
and makes it new.
Yeah.
Except for one that we'll talk about in a little while. And that is what makes him a good filmmaker, and we'll get into that more. But Yes, House of a Thousand Corpses, and I'm a hypocrite. I loved Rob Zombie, and I loved his videos, and I loved his music. And when I heard he was making a movie, I'm like, oh, come on.
Yeah.
You're not a director. You're a musician. Don't try that. I saw a movie directed by Bob Dylan once, an almost 3-hour movie called Ronaldo and Clara, made in the early 70s about a musician and his woman. And it's one of the most god-awful things I've ever seen. And Bob Dylan's a genius, you know? But no, House of the... I didn't see it at the theater. I saw it at on video, and I tell you what, I was immediately blown away.
Yeah.
Immediately. Very quickly. It's about it's a tip. It's
set it up for us.
It's his big tip of the hat to Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
I would say which is his big tip of the hat, and seems to be his biggest influence in most of his films.
Exactly. He's a huge fan of that movie.
Yeah, he goes for the horror that's possible.
Yeah.
Over the supernatural, though he's delved into those areas too.
We'll get to that too. Yay!
Yeah.
You're like, yay.
But Anthony, why don't you take us away? Let's do a short bio on it for those who haven't seen it yet.
We open in exterior night. No, it's about 4 friends who are driving around on Halloween weekend, and they stop at a roadside attraction, Captain Spaulding's horror ride. Is that what it's called?
Horror ride /
chicken. Yeah.
Yeah.
Chicken and gasoline. Fried chicken and gasoline. I have the shirt.
Popeyes on speed.
Yeah. And the great Sid Haig, who I always knew was great, but the world didn't until this movie.
Yeah. I mean, and man, created an iconic character.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, he did. Instant iconic character as Captain Spaulding the Clown. But he takes them on this murder ride. That's what it is. Murder ride. Thank you.
The murder ride.
Yeah. I couldn't get that a second ago. Takes him on the murder ride.
Satan!
Dr. Satan, yeah. And turns out that he is the father of a family of cannibals.
Well, you just gave away the end of the movie.
Everybody's seen it. The movie's a decade and a half old. Isn't that weird?
Yeah. Spoiler alert.
Shit.
Oh, wait, no. Fuck, we missed that.
We won't do spoilers for 31 when we get there, because that's new.
Yeah.
And it's coming out next week.
Or I'll just spoil the shit out of it.
Yeah. Spoiler alert, Rosebud's a sled. So anyway, all the horror fans were like, huh?
What?
Rosebud? But anyway, yes, and then of course they meet the Firefly clan. The great Karen Black is Mama Firefly.
And you're talking about your influences from Texas Chainsaw.
There they come.
I mean, literally, they meet a hitchhiker on the road who leads them back to the area of their demise.
Yep, exactly.
Very, very akin to...
The great Bill Moseley, who apparently needs to only work for Rob Zombie because he cannot choose good movies. He's...
I mean, from a fantastic Texas Chainsaw character himself.
Exactly,
He was Chop Top.
Chop Top.
In Texas Chainsaw Massacre
Part 2.
2.
Yeah.
Which a lot of people
underrated.
hated.
Yeah.
But it's hilarious.
It's a great film. People mistook it. They wanted Texas Chainsaw, and Hooper was giving us a dark comedy. Right. And I think he succeeded 100%. 100%.
He said, I'm going to give you something different. I already gave you Texas Chainsaw.
Yeah.
So, I'm going to give you something different. And I loved it. You and I agree 100% on that one.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I love the radio
the
station
DJ, Carolyn
play
McWilliams.
And man, even people that don't like Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2 still love Chop Top.
Oh, Chop Top's great.
Which was Bill Moseley. And
Bill Moseley,
this is the reason I think that he was chosen by Rob Zombie is because of his character Chop Top.
Oh, sure.
And gave him and Sid Haig and several others a resurgence to their career.
Exactly. And then as we spoke, Sherry Moon Zombie is Baby Firefly.
Right. And, beautiful and sinister. And she played both.
Exactly. And people either say, I love her and I love that laugh, or they say, I hate her and that laugh makes me want to die. And I love her and I love that laugh.
Yep.
That she created for that character. It's great.
No, she's fantastic job.
The Firefly clan are an iconic. But anyway, it's about an hour and 40 minutes of murder and mayhem.
And let us not forget the original Mother Firefly. The great.
I didn't. I said that already.
Did you say
Karen Black? Yes.
Karen Black.
The great Karen Black. Yes. Rest in peace, Karen Black.
Rest in peace, and she deserves a quick second. Karen Black is, if you like horror movies, you know who Karen Black is.
She's an iconic horror actress.
She has been in everything, and she's been in movies that I love that no one knows. And man, I cannot rave enough about Karen Black and the performances that she does.
This is a horror podcast, or else I'd talk about her work with Robert Altman and Jack Nicholson. But that too, yeah. But no, Trilogy of Terror and so many more. Tobe Hooper's underrated Invaders from Mars.
Invaders from Mars.
Yeah. By the way,
one of my favorites, and not necessarily yours, but I love. Oh man, now I'm gonna not think of the name.
I just told them we're connoisseurs, so you got to come up with this name.
Burnt Offering.
Burnt Offerings. Yes, you're a bigger fan than I am.
I found it,
but
very
it's not
creepy.
bad.
Atmospheric.
Yeah.
It was not an in-your-face type of horror. It was more atmospheric, more in the reigns of I would say Let's Scare Jessica to Death.
It was gothically horror.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, speaking to somebody on our cast, I believe it's on widescreen. Your other project.
Yes.
He recommended What Have You Done to Solange?
Yeah, Kyle Jonathan.
Shout
out to Kyle Jonathan.
Shout out Kyle Jonathan. I saw the film. I loved it. Giallo.
You've never seen
films. That? I had never seen it.
Oh, that's a goodie.
Oh, and Giallo films are right up my alley, and that one did not disappoint at all. I thoroughly enjoy it. Thank you for the recommendation. I think I had recommended Alice, Sweet Alice, or Communion to you, and you hadn't seen it. Hopefully you take the time to go see that. I think you'll thoroughly enjoy it and get what I'm talking about as well.
Yes, thank you, Kyle Jonathan, and we're going to shove you in this group once we get it going on Facebook.
Yeah, come on, man. I mean, we already vibe.
Right. And, that's a great film, and we'll be doing a Giallo show soon.
Yeah.
Soon.
Giallo can hold its own.
Yeah, we can do 10 shows on that. But anyway, The House of a Thousand Corpses, I thought I think it's wonderful. It falls apart in the last 15, 20 minutes. It should end sooner than it ends.
The whole subterranean Dr. Satan's lair.
We never need to meet Dr. Satan in that movie.
No, he's better as a character talked about instead
exactly.
of shown.
But like you said, it's a tip of the hat in style and feel of Hooper's. A lot of Hooper's work, really, but mostly Texas Chainsaw Massacre, even Part 2.
Yeah, I agree. And if I have one gripe with it, he had come up with a style for shooting his music videos that I feel he really carried over into that film, which also made it unique and individual. And one of the things that I also, at the same time that I'm calling it a critique, that I liked about it, but it was an extended music video for a lot of intents and purposes in the pacing, color, way it was shot.
Yeah, sure.
But
that's not a negative.
But again, not a negative. I thought that was one of the things that was original about it.
Yeah.
And when he rolled into his next film, which was a sequel, he completely dropped that form and went for something new and yet retro, and hit the biggest home run of his career, in my opinion.
I agree with you, sir. I can't yet. We're speaking, of course, his very next film, the sequel to House of a Thousand Corpses, and what's considered by mostly all of his fans to be his best film.
The
Devil's
Rejects.
Going
with the trend, but The Devil's Rejects.
The Devil's Rejects.
Yeah, my favorite.
It's mine too. It is. I mean, I'll explain why I'm saying it that way in a couple movies down, but it's mine too. Of course it is. I can't deny it. Yeah. It is so good. It is a movie that critics liked it, and critics do not like Rob Zombie films. Ebert and Roper, rest in peace, Roger Ebert, gave it thumbs up.
Ebert and Siskel, I was going to say.
No, Siskel's
gone
was long
many
dead.
years. And
Ebert and Roper.
Both of them died of cancer.
Yeah.
Quick shout out to Siskel and Ebert, who were the first things that I ever saw of horror critics or movie critics altogether. And then Siskel and Roper. Or, sorry.
Ebert and Roper.
Ebert and Roper.
Very, very quickly, I remember, because I used to watch Siskel and Ebert every weekend, my dad and I, and he didn't want to go see Halloween 3. He says, that looks, and it's supposed to be terrible. And I'm like, please, Dad. I was only 13. I'm like, I can't go if you don't go. And so we watched Siskel and Ebert the night before we went. And Siskel started with it.
Okay.
And Siskel liked it. He liked it a lot. And he said everything about it. You know, it's a B movie, but I enjoyed this, and it has this. And then he turns to, I'll never forget this, he turns to Roger Ebert, and he says, Roger, please say you liked it. Please, I want you to like it. And they cut to Roger, and he's, nope. And then he trashes it. I love that. But that's kind of what we're going to be doing here for you guys. Yeah, we're going to have many moments. Not many, but we'll have moments like that.
And sometimes it'll be like Men in Film. 3 snaps, a twist, and a kiss.
Yeah. Don't get mad.
And sometimes it's going to be like, what? You like that? I am no longer
You're
friends
out
with
of
you.
your mind.
Yep, we're done.
Yeah.
The show is over.
But back to Devil's Rejects. It is a horror masterpiece. And in a weird way, it's kind of not a horror film, but it is.
You know what? It starts off kind of action horror-esque. You look at who they are as the people inside of the house when they're being basically surrounded by the police. I don't think I'm spoiling anything here.
No. For those who don't know, it's the continuation of the Firefly Clan.
Right. So the Firefly Clan has been identified as evil people, and they're now being, not attacked by the police, but they're being surrounded in their house. And it just starts off on a breakneck pace.
It really does.
The tension is right there, and
doesn't stop till the end credits roll.
And
with
the
that
funny
tension.
thing is that it makes the central characters these evil people from the first film. That,
and they're worse in this one.
Yeah,
they're
worse.
worse.
But somehow you identify with them more than you did in the first film. Whereas in the first film, they're disconnected.
Yeah.
And they're the evil that you can't understand.
They're at a distance.
In this one, it's telling the story from their perspective, right from shot one.
Yeah.
And, the way it goes down, a few of them escape, a few of them don't make it. And the ones that go on the road, it continues their story.
Mosley, Sherry Moon, and
it
Sid
becomes
Haig.
an outlaw story.
It does,
Outlaws on the run, running from the man.
And like we spoke of, his movies are all tips of the hat to the movies he grew. It's still horror, but the rest of the movie, he's tipping his hat to the grindhouse on the run from the good old boy sheriff movies.
Yeah.
From the 70s. And I'm not talking the Smokey and the Bandit ones. I'm talking like the
even the comedies
Macon
of the day,
County
like,
Lines and the movies like that.
The cops were the warden in Animal House,
Well.
Fight the man.
Yeah, but I mean, there was a subgenre of grindhouse movies, where it would be a couple of good old boys and they'd meet up with a girl and they'd do some shit and run afoul of a sheriff. And then at the end get all shot up and we'd feel sorry for them.
Right.
After they've done all these vile things. And that's what he does in Devil's Rejects. Spoiler alert.
Yeah.
Again, a decade and a half old movie here. But at the end they all get shot up and it's done to Freebird and it's in slow
Leonard
motion.
Skinner, yeah, beautiful.
And it works and it's beautifully done and it's not, I'm not talking Schindler's List emotional here, but it's emotional-ish. And then we're thinking...
It hits a mark. It legitimately hits a mark.
And then watching this family get shot up together. And then we're thinking, wait a minute. They just raped, murdered, skinned people alive? Jesus H, why am I feeling bad for them?
And it's true.
And that is another... You can pinpoint that on the map of, well, show me a reason that Rob Zombie's a good director. Right there. Just what I said. We just spent the last hour and a half watching them sexually assault, murder, skinned a girl's boyfriend's face off and put it on her face.
Otis in the beginning of that movie wakes up next to a dead girl in his bed.
Yeah.
Who he's obviously been sleeping with.
Exactly. But by the end... Exactly.
Nothing taboo in this.
But by the end of the movie, oh no, they're getting shot up. It's...
I was kind of hoping they'd make it.
Yeah, damn it. And that's one of many great things about that, and one of many great things of him as a filmmaker, that he pulled that off. And one thing we forgot to mention in the first film, the great rest in peace, the great Tom Towles played the sheriff, and the great Walton Goggins, who everybody knows now, played his deputy. And of course they kill them both. And in The Devil's Rejects, the great William Forsythe is the good old boy sheriff, brother of Tom Towles, going out for revenge on the Firefly clan.
Get him, brother.
Yeah, William Forsythe in The Devil's Rejects gives a Oscar nomination worthy performance. He is so good in that movie.
I can agree with that. I mean, because he is the character that is really out to destroy and kill these monstrous people, but because the way he goes about it is so brutal,
he becomes a monster himself. Yeah.
And he is the reason that at the end you care somewhat for these monstrous people being the Firefly family. You know, you should want them dead. They are evil people. They're terrible.
Yeah.
And yet, because of his character and the way he's portrayed and the way he carries out, the way he's going after them, you actually care about the Fireflies.
You do. And there's a scene where William Forsythe gets all three of them. Sid Haig, Bill Moseley, and Sherry Moon.
Run.
But before that, he's got them all, we'll call it, tied down to chairs.
Uh-huh.
He's got them nail gunned down to chairs with their hands. And he's torturing them, and that's when we get our first tinge of, oh no, don't do that to them. But we're thinking, wait, they deserve every single thing he's doing to them, as vile as it is. But we're with them, not him. And he's on the good, I mean, he's doing it all wrong, but he's on the justified mission.
And how Zombie pulled that off, because
it's fantastic.
It's not like they were backing down from the accusations he was making to them, like, who killed this person? Oh, I killed her. I broke that bitch wide open.
Yep.
Who got that? That one was mine.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they're owning up to their murders with
and they're
pride,
happy about it.
With pride.
And they're trying to piss him off more by saying it.
And somehow we're still like,
with him.
I hope he doesn't kill him.
Oh, no, don't nail gun his knee. That'll hurt him.
That'll hurt this sadistic bastard.
Poor Sid Haig. Come on.
Yeah.
He was a Bond villain. Let him go. Yeah, no. And then, and it's The Devil's Rejects is a very nihilistic movie.
Mm-hmm.
It's visceral. That's Rob Zombie is above all else a visceral filmmaker. He doesn't make.
That 100%.
He does not make the. Well, there's one coming up, but he usually does not make the slow, methodical horror.
Right.
He makes the in-your-face horror. But The Devil's Rejects, yes, it is his best film.
Fantastic.
It is.
And a quick throw out. If you are a horror fan, there are cameos aplenty in there.
Oh, sure. In all his movies, he peppers them, much like Tarantino.
Right.
Peppers them with the people he likes and actors whose careers should have been bigger but aren't. But he finds them. He recognizes
and in here you
their
will
talent.
Find Ken Fourier from the original Dawn of the Dead, as well as many
yeah.
others. Michael Berryman from the original.
Great Michael Berryman.
The Hills Have Eyes, as well as many others.
PJ Souls for a second.
PJ Souls for a second.
Who I met and spoke with. Thank you very much.
And Leslie Easterbrook, who has worked with him now on
a few.
At least, a few.
Leslie Easterbrook that took over for Karen Black. Karen Black was sick.
Yeah.
She didn't come back. Again, rest in peace.
Yep.
And Leslie Easterbrook was fine. And she has a great scene as well.
Yeah.
With William Forsythe.
Yeah. Oh.
Mano y mano there.
Well
done.
Oh
my God. Such a good.
Mother Firefly.
Leslie Easterbrook shines in that. In that moment, she owns that role.
Yeah.
But yet, so does Karen Black.
Yeah.
Which is unheard of in I think, in film history, right?
Yeah, where two people own
Yeah.
the character.
Yeah, exactly. Maybe Adam West and Christian Bale.
If the
I
other
don't
one
know.
owned it, you can't own it.
Yeah, right, yeah. Yeah, no. But The Devil's Rejects is, in my opinion, and apparently yours, perfect.
Right.
Perfect. Not a false moment. Not a false note. Not a missed beat. It's a perfect film.
I enjoyed it through and through.
Exactly.
Through and through.
And then, here we go. Now
we
it's
start polarizing the people.
Now it starts. Then he did Halloween. Oh, Rob Zombie, let me start by saying, Rob Zombie, you silly goose.
I mean, to take on...
We're fumbling here.
To take on there's no probably about it, the most iconic slasher film of all time, what became the archetype for a slasher film.
Even though there was one...
I will not say it's the first. A lot of people will be like,
not the first
slasher
it's not
film
the first.
was Halloween. It's not the first.
It's the one that changed the game and started, everybody had to have, it had to be a holiday or a certain time. Or
right.
It
it set a lot of the archetypes that followed after. And
everybody knows how iconic it is, and everybody knows it's a masterpiece. I think everybody agrees it's a masterpiece.
I would say, I mean, if you rewatch the original Halloween today, it still stands.
Which I will be doing in approximately 2 weeks.
Yeah, we are almost on the Halloween date as of an actual date.
Yes.
But that film still plays. I don't care that it was made over 30, 40, well, not, it's almost 40 years.
Yes, I know. Shut up. I'm getting old.
Yep, it's almost 40 years now.
My dad played it at his theater, folks. Just a little trivia for you there.
So this film still plays. It's still legitimately
It's still effective,
scares,
yeah.
And it's not gory.
Nope.
There is one drip of blood that comes down off the mask in the film.
Yep.
And Rob Zombie decided
to remake it.
Yep, he was going to tackle that project.
He actually jumped at it, I heard. Because they said they were going to remake it, and so he threw his hat in the ring.
Right.
And
I think his words were, well, anybody else will just mess it up.
Yeah. Well, look, I'm one of the few to say that it's not a failure, but it is far from perfect.
And though you say you're one of the few,
I
think it was more liked than disliked by fans.
Yeah, because you know what? It came out right a few years before. If you notice, it's only been a few years that everybody, when they hear about something being remade, takes to Twitter, takes to Facebook, takes to the internet,
right.
And just when Ghostbusters, when a preview hadn't even come out yet, regardless of what you think of the new Ghostbusters, when a preview hadn't come out yet, there were people all over Facebook. All right, we know the new Ghostbusters is going to be shit. So what other movies do you think are going to fail? I'm like, no, we don't know that.
Right.
You know, you haven't seen an inch of it yet. So Rob Zombie's Halloween got in just before that started happening. And I think if he would have redone Halloween now the same way, exactly the same, good or bad, there would be just like that Twitter wars and Facebook groups and like there was a guy that made a group for Facebook, National Don't Go See the New Ghostbusters Week. He made a page on Facebook. That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Again, regardless, good or bad, doesn't matter. That's retarded. And I think that would have happened if Rob Zombie would have done Halloween now.
Could be. I can't say
and for
one way or another, but
for the true horror fan, like it or not, hearing anybody but Rob Zombie remaking Halloween is like hearing Rob Zombie's remaking The Godfather or Rob Zombie's remaking, Raiders of the Lost Ark. What are you doing?
Yeah.
Don't do that. You're very talented. Do something else.
Right. But sometimes people can strike gold with these things.
And well, he certainly did. Financial gold.
Financial gold. It was a huge success, and
it made more in its opening weekend.
Not a bad film. Do I love it?
It's not a bad film.
Do I love it? No.
Real quick, Rob Zombie's Halloween made more in its opening weekend than Devil's Rejects and House of a Thousand Corpses made in their entire theatrical runs.
I can
Yeah.
believe that.
It was a huge hit.
But it also had the most iconic horror movie
It did, yeah.
name attached to it, other than
Exactly.
say, The Exorcist or
Yeah.
Texas
Or
Chainsaw.
Nightmare, yeah. Next thing you know, they'll remake Nightmare on Elm Street and Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Oh wait.
Oh, wait.
No. The Evil Dead will be the last one.
Yeah,
to hold its
surely
own.
they won't. Oh, wait a second. Well, surely they won't remake any more Carpenter movies.
Oh god.
Oh, wait.
I'm still waiting for the remake of Suspiria to drop, and
You know it's on again. You know that, right?
God. Oh,
Yeah, well, yeah. But anyway, Rob Zombie's Halloween. It's 50-50 for me. Like you said, it's successful as
Yeah.
a film.
It's not bad.
It's not bad. It's two films for me really rolled up into one. The first half is him trying to do something new, show us Michael as a kid, show us his beginnings and how he got to where he became the Shape, if you will. And then the last half is kind of him throwing in his towel and saying, "Yeah, I'm just going to remake Halloween in the last 35 minutes of the movie."
Yeah. Which
But
was the weaker? Which was the weaker?
it's the
half?
weaker part. Yeah, once he actually breaks out and gets going on his killing spree, I'm like, we've been here.
Except for I'm Joe Grizzly, bitch.
Yeah, right. Except for Ken Foray's wonderful cameo. I love that.
Awesome.
I love that. No.
Yo, I got some Del Taco talking back at me.
Yeah, that was great. And they're playing Rush's Tom Sawyer in the background. He's walking through like he owns the place. What's up, man? Big Joe. Yeah. It's a great. I love Ken Foray.
Joe Grizzly, bitch.
The first half of Halloween. Here's the thing. I don't think it's needed, and I think it. Forgive me, Mr. Zombie. I think it pisses on the whole Halloween aura. He's the boogeyman.
Yeah, no. You don't want to give a psychological reason to why.
Yeah,
this kid is
no,
killing.
no.
He does it because he's
the boogeyman.
The boogeyman.
Yeah, and he can't be stopped. And excuse me. Yeah, and they give us the backstory. He grew up with an the great William Forsythe again, abusive stepfather, and a mother who was a stripper trying to hold her family together, and so on, and blah, blah, blah. Here's the thing. All that works, but I wish it would have been, don't do that for Halloween. Just do some other killer movie and do all that the same way.
Right.
Yeah.
He could have titled this differently and had a...
Because it's all great. All that stuff is great, but if you look at it as a Halloween remake, it's not as great.
Right.
But it's great.
Am
I making sense?
If you had titled that anything else.
Yeah, sure.
And just not had him put on a Jason mask.
Sorry?
Sorry, Michael Myers mask.
Thank you.
But
don't you blaspheme when we're talking about Halloween.
Or even give him a mask at all.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Exactly, yeah.
It would have been a completely different film.
Sure.
It had a completely different flavor.
It's like
he did make up for it.
Sorry?
He did make Halloween 2.
Holy shit. He's kidding, folks, because if he isn't, this will be the first and last theater that I'm on. Hold on. Real quick, one last word on Halloween. Sherry Moon Zombie is very good in it. Very good. And it's like, for me, it's like 2001 and 2010, the movies. 2001 is my favorite film of all time. It's a masterpiece, blah, 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 blah. I could go on forever. 2010, the sequel from 1984, is a really good, solid space thriller. But if I look at it as a sequel to the, in my opinion, most masterful full film of all time, it's not that good. So I try to distance myself. And that's the way I feel about Halloween. The first half is very strong. Yeah. I just wish it wasn't Michael Myers.
And it's funny because I can find things that I separate and I can like them individually. One big case in point for me is The Shining, the novel, The Shining, the movie. Right. I love both.
Me too.
And a lot of people are like, well, if you love the movie, you can't like the book.
That's
false.
false.
If you love the book, you can't like the movie. And that's just not true because
I think it was
so different and such individual stories.
Exactly.
That they're two great horror stories that I love.
And I also think that Mick Garris proved that if you film the book as written, it's not going to be very good.
Yeah. I mean,
Oh,
casting
Mick.
choices, shooting everything in daylight.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Tony's floating around.
Tony's
Floating around.
Lot of
Jesus Christ.
lot of that crap.
The Shining. We're talking about the Shining miniseries that was just garbage, and we're moving on immediately.
Yeah.
So yeah, Rob Zombie's Halloween. To me, it's 50% successful. It's just like we said. Just do something else. Make it another killer.
I agree.
Yeah.
All in all, if you watch the movie, will you not see some things that you'll enjoy? I don't believe so. I think
Yeah,
you'll
there's some good stuff in there.
Yep.
There's a few great things in there.
But as a whole,
Yeah,
don't remake the best.
exactly. And that goes for all genres. Just stop.
Right.
Stop it right now.
Stop it. Stop it.
And then he moved on to Halloween 2. So anyways, next movie.
Yeah, I'm literally ready to just bypass this one.
Halloween 2. Let me start out by saying I think Rob Zombie is a current master of horror, and I look forward to everything he does.
The fuck were you?
Halloween 2 is a mammoth piece of crap. Mammoth. It has and I've heard a lot of people that like it. There are a lot of fans of Zombies Halloween 2.
Really?
Yeah. It's preposterously bad. It's phantasmagorically ridiculous. It is dumb. It is dumb.
No thread of thought carries together. There's no cohesive storyline. No. There's no character to care a shit about.
No, and where we said that when Zombie pays homage, he's respectful, and this one he is completely disrespectful to the characters that Carpenter created. He turns Dr. Loomis into a jerk, a money-grabbing scumbag asshole.
Yeah.
Yeah. He turns Laurie Strode. I don't know what the hell he did with Laurie Strode.
It's like that episode of South Park where George Lucas and Steven Spielberg go and just start humping
right.
Indiana Jones.
But no, and the stuff he did with the psychic connection with Laurie and her... Oh, the white horse. There's a white horse.
It's like he went out of his way in the first film to show that there's nothing supernatural about it, and that he is a human person driven to, hurt and kill because of his emotional upbringing.
Right.
And then the second one, he's like, never mind, it's supernatural.
Exactly.
And it's like, what the... But your supernatural shit doesn't string together at all.
Again, Rob, you silly goose.
Yeah.
And you know what? I think we've talked about Halloween 2 enough.
Yeah.
Here's the thing.
We can wrap it up right there.
I never thought I would say that I would hate a Rob Zombie film. I hate Halloween 2. I hate it. I hate it. I hate it.
Maybe a selection for bad movie night with a drinking game.
Exactly.
Otherwise, you can avoid it.
Drink every time something pisses you off. You'll be drunk in the first half hour.
Yep.
And one last thing on Halloween 2. Excuse me, Michael Myers, put a mask on. Put a mask on. He's walking around with a hoodie. He has no mask. Yeah. Anyway.
Terrible.
Yeah.
Terrible.
Moving on.
All right.
And we'll skip over El Super Beasto. It was a fun cartoon. It was funny.
But not really a film of his.
Yeah, it's not. I mean, it is, but it's just a one-off. He did a one-off. It was a funny cartoon. I'll own it because I'm a completist with directors I like.
About luchadors, so Mexican wrestlers.
Yeah.
Things like that. Yeah.
The great comedian Tom Papa voices him.
And he had a lot of his people play audio roles.
Yeah, Sid Haig, Sherry Moon. Yep. Yeah. The great Jeffrey Lewis, rest in peace.
Yeah, true. And then also, if we're talking about things that we can just glance over, he did a fantastic short fake trailer.
Oh, shit.
In the middle of Grindhouse.
That's right.
Yep.
The Great Grindhouse, which we will dedicate a show to.
Yep. Werewolf Women of the SS.
Werewolf Women of the SS. It's also at the album he put out after that, Hellbilly Deluxe Part 2.
Yep.
It's on there. The song, Werewolf Women of the SS. It's a great trailer. It's hilarious. And the best, it's his homage to Ilsa, She-Wolf of the SS.
One of my favorite
couple of tips of hats to the dream.
Time.
Yeah. A couple of tips of hats to the dream sequences in American Werewolf in London. And to me, the funniest moment is Nicolas Cage as Fu Manchu. And Nicolas Cage dressed as a bad Fu Manchu turns around and just cackles. And it's the best moment. It's the best. That's all he does. You don't see him again.
Yeah, he's like he says
That's
something.
it.
I can't remember what he says.
Does he
but
say
it's like,
something? Yeah.
Yeah, it's like
Yeah, that's fantastic.
Ah.
But yeah, he did the fake trailer in the middle of Grindhouse, which is one movie, not two. Thank you. And
correct.
and we
With those
will
trailers in the middle, which were fantastic.
maybe next show
Yeah, maybe.
for the get them psyched for Halloween.
Yeah, we could get into it. Just the fake trailers alone could
Definitely.
make their own show. Edgar
Yeah.
Wright did a fantastic. Don't.
Yeah. Well, hold on. We'll wait.
Yeah,
hold
yeah,
on there.
yeah.
But yeah. So yeah, Zombie did a great fake
He
trailer.
wrote it off.
Thanksgiving. What's it? That's it.
Sorry, I squeezed it in.
All will be carved.
I squeezed it in.
Right.
We're gonna fit into our audience, right?
Exactly. So then Rob Zombie did his next movie.
And his next movie, I believe, is in contention for you. For your favorite.
Yes, you're right. When I saw it, and I saw it twice at the theater for the 30 seconds it played, I said, you know what, this is his best movie. And I've stood by that. And then I watched it again, and I still think it is, I'm sorry, I think it's a horror masterpiece. Lords of Salem.
Lords
of Salem.
of Salem.
But I give the edge to Devil's Rejects before we get into Lords of Salem here. I give the edge to Devil's Rejects because I can watch Lords of Salem once a year for the rest of my life. I can watch Devil's Rejects once a month for the rest of my life.
So it has more playability.
It does have more playability. And it is his most... There's a couple of tiny tweaks that could be made in Lords of Salem, but they're minuscule. Like we said, there is nothing wrong with Devil's Rejects.
Right.
But anyway, Lords of Salem. Sherry Moon is a DJ, and with Ken Foray again, and Jeffrey, I can't remember his name. He works with this actor now. There are three DJs who have a rock show. They live in Salem, Massachusetts, and they get a record to play from a group called the Lords, and they dub them the Lords of Salem.
Right.
And they play this record, and it's this weird noise, weird chant.
Almost sounds like a
thing.
backwards running record.
Yeah,
you know?
almost, yeah.
And
And
the whole John is dead. John is
yeah,
dead.
Paul, actually.
Paul. No,
And-
Paul
yeah.
is dead. Yeah, that's right.
And
Sorry.
so, and every time it happens, Sherry Moon gets sick, but she's slowly being. She's a descendant of the witches who were burned in Salem, and
Being influenced by.
as are some of the women in the town, and they're coming for him. And it's fairly fresh, so maybe we should stop there.
Right.
Yeah. But I tell you, this is his most... Forget Halloween. Lords of Salem is his most polarizing movie.
And as it is with us.
It is with us, too.
Yeah.
But you like it, at least.
No, I like it. There were a lot of things done right.
Yeah.
He swung for the fences in a lot of ways.
He sure
shot
did.
outside of his normal style, or what style I classified him as shooting.
Where we just
Before that
said he
film.
was visceral.
Right.
Now he's subdued.
Right.
In
Slow
Lords of
pans,
Salem.
long shots.
It's very
open camera.
Kubrickian.
Yeah.
It's very in his shooting style. Very Kubrickian.
And but for me, personally, this is just my thought. The scares were a little forced. It seemed to be a lot of music spikes. Now, that's not to be taken as that he builds you up and then does boo. Builds you up and does boo. No. He'd have a long, creepy build-up, and then the music would spike, and that would really be it. So it was very anticlimactic with its scares,
I will
in my opinion.
Our first disagreement, I like it. We do it on the first show. They'll get a feel.
Right.
I will disagree on that. I do agree. Like, yeah, I don't like music spikes. I never do. But I mean, they work sometimes. But I'm like, do something else. Even Carpenter does it though. You know it. But yeah, the original music spike. But no, in this movie, I do disagree. I think the scares are earned. And I think it's not so much scares. I think he creates this extremely, in my opinion, creepy atmosphere, and keeps it there
Tension.
until the last moment. Not even tension, just creepy atmosphere. You're just creeped out the apartment she lives in, the hallway, the room she goes in, the wonderful kitchen scene. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, where she's hanging there.
There's just this demon hanging there, and you're waiting.
Old witch.
Or yeah, well, and you're waiting. She's gonna move. She's gonna turn. She's gonna do nothing, and it's just to where he's just pulling it so tight. Now there's tension in that scene, but he just creates this ugly. And I'm not comparing it to The Exorcist, by the way, at all. That's my favorite horror film of all time. But in the way that William Friedkin created the atmosphere in The Exorcist, it's not so much we're scared by her, even though she looks frightening. But it's just the mood. Everything is so ugly and dark and dank, and the sound design in The Exorcist. And he does a little of that in Lords of Salem. And I thought it worked perfectly. It's my second favorite zombie film.
For me, it felt like a culmination of two things that I really enjoy. One done better, one done worse. It kind of felt like an episode of Masters of Horror known as Dreams in the Witch House.
Yeah.
And it's, trying to confuse you and throw you off to where the narrative is going, but the narrative is plain to see from the beginning. You kind of understand exactly what the film's about right from the beginning, and then it just proceeds to elongate it. In the second film, which is very similar, but done much better, it felt like Rosemary's Baby.
Well, he said that this Lords of Salem is Rosemary's Baby meets The Devil's meets,
Right.
So, yeah, he had that in mind, sure.
Yeah.
And someday we'll talk about Rosemary's Baby, and I will personally alienate half of our audience, if not the whole audience. I'm not a fan. I'm not a fan.
You very well
And I think Roman Polanski is a genius. I will never understand Rosemary's Baby's popularity, but that's another show.
Well, for me, it was wanting to be Rosemary's Baby without any of the subtlety to the horror.
See, I thought there was subtlety to the horror.
It was
Roger.
The music was, whereas Rosemary's Baby, everything was slow played.
Yeah.
And you had to follow what was going on. There's the detective story, and the what's going on, and when you find it out, it was small but big.
Yeah, I understand.
Whereas this tried to be big but small.
See,
if that
I don't know. It does make sense, but I disagree on the music as well. The music is very subdued in this movie. The loudest part is when they play the Velvet Underground song, and that's still a mellow song,
Yeah.
All the parties. No, I think, especially for Rob Zombie, it's subdued. Yeah.
I'll agree there. It wasn't gore in your face like I'm going to wear your face out to talk to your boyfriend or girlfriend.
And the camera's pretty stoic. I mean, there's slow pans and long shots that linger and, slow mo. And there's not all the flashiness that he usually does. I don't know. I think it's one on widescreen, I listed my top 5 favorite witch films, and I have it tied at number 5. I think it's a great, great, great film. Right. I really do.
I will not say that I will not watch it again.
Sure.
And that I didn't enjoy it. I just can't put it into a tops category.
No, of course.
It doesn't fit into my tops category. It's just inherently something about a film either you vibe with or you don't.
Babadook.
Yeah, that's one we are on opposite sides of. I enjoyed it very much, as where
I enjoyed
you respect it, but
there you go.
You
that's
don't,
a better way to say
it.
Yeah,
you don't see it as I did. And this film was probably the same way. You see it as higher. I see it as something that was not blasphemous, not trash, not bad, but not worthy of higher talk.
That's true. And I tell you, I realize I am in the minority on this one. I mean, so many people hate Lords of Salem.
Hey, I'm in the minority on a lot of my films.
I know, me too, yeah.
I can understand that. And why you like it has got to be something that it resonates to you.
Yeah.
And for you, it found something that resonated. For
Yeah, it
me, it didn't, completely miss the mark. It wasn't something that was worthy over many other films that I think of.
I understand. And last note on it, I can wrap up what people think of that movie with this. When I saw it the first time in the theater, I saw it with my friend Nate. And when it was over, I leaned over to him and I said,
sucked his dick.
Oh, no. I leaned over to him and I said, that was a really good film. And as I said that, there were two guys behind us. And they said, one of them leaned over to the other one and said, what the fuck did I just see? And simultaneously we did this. So that is pretty much the perception of Lords of Salem.
Right.
One person says that. There's no middle ground.
Literally row by row. It's
Yeah.
like, great shit. Great shit.
Yeah. You're the first and only one, I think, that is in the middle. Like it's good, but I either hear shit or amazing.
Well, I like what he was trying to do.
Yeah.
I respect what he was trying to do.
Mm-hmm.
For me, he didn't pull it off right. I don't know how to say this correctly. He just didn't have a mastery of timing with it.
And see, that's
All
what I
the
thought
right
worked.
things were
That's
there.
what I thought worked for me. I'm like, he meticulously times this thing down to a crawl, but in a good way.
And it just goes to show you, like,
You read different things.
There is no perfect film. A film is perfect
Hello,
to you.
I disagree.
No, there are perfect films, but
No, I know what you're saying.
a perfect film is perfect to you.
Of course.
You're the audience.
Yeah.
And that's the great thing about film, is that it will polarize you. It will make you feel disgusted or happy or sad or whatever. If it evokes emotion, then it's done its job.
Of course.
And, what is one person's trash is the other person's treasure.
Unfortunately, the emotion that Lords of Salem evokes for most film goers is sleep. Yeah. But anyway.
I can't say I was too far off from there, but I also wasn't asleep. I did enjoy it. I would watch it again.
Yeah.
Not a bad film.
Right.
I don't think he's really made a terrible film.
Whoa,
Halloween
wait a
2.
minute. Yeah.
Oh,
Back that up there,
yeah,
fella.
Halloween 2.
All right. But so anyway, then we come to his, and just to let everybody know, our shows are going to be an hour, maybe a little more, maybe a little less. But for our inaugural show, we're going to be a little over an hour for you.
Yeah, sorry.
We'll come to his latest opus, Rob Zombie's 31, which we saw together for the first time.
Yes. No. Actually,
Well, no, I saw it before you. Yes,
Yeah.
but
You cheated on me.
I sure did.
I was unavailable one night. It was playing in the theater. He went there, watched it, met Rob Zombie, and
Had a blast, hung out.
Yep. Got to do all that.
Got a back rub from Sherry Moon Zombie.
Seriously, I was so.
I said, "Hey, man,
jealous.
you gotta go somewhere else. I'm not staying home. I'm like a henpecked wife.
Yeah.
I'm like, well, I'm not staying home because you can't go. I'm gonna go hang out with Rob and Sherry Moon. But anyway, folks,
Son of a bitch, you.
Rob Zombie's 31, his latest film, and just to let you know, it's currently on demand on iTunes, and they're going to re-release. They released it for a one-night-only special Fathom event. They're going to release it the week prior to Halloween, which would be next week, next Friday.
In some theaters.
In some
your
theaters, and they're doing another Fathom event at the same time of it, so it's going to be out there, and
go see it.
We are both telling you to go see Rob Zombie's 31.
Give yourself a chance to see it in the theater. This is a movie.
It's an experience
that would play into the big theater, which I did not, unfortunately, get to experience it in. The same day that it released in some independent theaters around the area.
It's on demand as well.
Released on demand. And Anthony had already cheated on me, as I said before. Cheating bastard. Went and saw it in the theater. And, he told me enough that I knew I wanted to see it. And we knew we wanted to do this show. And it wasn't going to work out timing-wise for me to make it to the theater. So we cracked and we did the on-demand version. Sorry, Rob, you still got some of my money. I would have rather seen it in theaters, and hopefully I'll get the chance. If this becomes a movie that stands the test of time, maybe I will get the chance to.
I'll tell him for you when I see him again.
But we did see it in this fashion, and I would say resurgence for the man.
Well, resurgence to the kind of filmmaking that he used to do, anyway. Yeah.
I felt it was entertaining. It was fun. It was gross. It was everything that I wanted a Rob Zombie film to be, and it was in what I consider your unique style, Rob. I know you don't want to be categorized, and you want to show that you can do anything in any genre, and you can't be held down, but you created a genre that is yours, in my opinion.
Is he listening?
I don't know, but if you are, you came back to it with this film for me.
I agree. I agree with that. Yeah. As much as I love Lords of Salem, I agree with that. This movie is like a bloody funhouse.
Yeah, it's a good app. Toby Hooper's Funhouse. Yep.
It is. It's his most extreme film, and he has admitted that as well. He said he went farther on this than he's gone on the violence, and he's right. I mean, it's nothing like we're jaded. Yeah, we didn't say, "Oh my God," but for him, he shows things that he used to allude to, and
gore is not what it. That's a whole other conversation. But gore does not shock people anymore.
No, it doesn't.
We have seen a head be smashed in every way you can possibly smash it.
Sure.
People impaled in every way you can impale them.
Chainsaws cutting people to bits.
You've seen that now. It just doesn't affect you anymore.
No, it doesn't.
So you've got to get under the skin in
which he does.
And
that's what this movie is. It is. Yeah. And this has been said a million times about movies like Aliens and things like that. It's a roller coaster that doesn't stop. And it doesn't. It has a kind of a weak setup, weak first 10 minutes, but that's it. And then we're there.
And I will amend my previous statement. Gore still works.
Well,
when you get people to believe the scene.
Right, there you go.
If you believe the scene, it can be a subtle amount of gore that hits you.
You're right.
And it's like, oh my God, that eyeball. And it's just sent around the eyeball instead of chopping somebody into little bits and this, that, and extremely gory and blood's flying everywhere. Sometimes the more subtle works more. It's how much you believe the scene you're watching. How you could see that in real life.
I agree.
I'm not saying this movie was chock full of that.
No, it's not. We don't want to scare any people who don't like gore away. It's not. There are some gory moments.
Yeah.
Lots of blood. Lots of blood in this one. But there's no guts or anything of that nature.
No. It was actually, for what I was expecting, I thought it was, dare I say, rather tame.
Well, for us, it's tame, yeah. I saw worse gore in Eli Roth's Hostel films.
Well, I was watching Italian horror before most people
that's true.
had their horror big boy pants on.
That's right. Yeah, me too.
And the Italians, they're the fucked up ones.
They're the bloody ones, yeah.
Yeah.
But, 31 tells the story of Sherry Moon again, and Lawrence Hilton Jacobs, Freddie Boom Boom Washington from Welcome Back, Kotter, giving a horrible, I'm sorry. He's terrible.
Jamaican accent?
Yeah,
oh my God.
He's terrible in this movie. There's no reason for his stupid accent.
No, I like him in his personability and everything as a character.
I didn't
just
care
take
for
away that terrible accent.
Yeah, that's retarded.
And he could have just been a regular dude. Like, was there a reason for the accent?
Yeah, there's no reason whatsoever.
No.
But anyway, they're a traveling circus performers.
Just before Halloween. Sound familiar?
On Halloween. It's Halloween night. Yeah. Right. And they come to a road where they're blocked by scarecrows, and they get out to move them, and that's all she wrote. They get kidnapped, and they're put into a game called 31, run by these psychotic aristocrats led by Malcolm McDowell, once again.
and they give them these bomb collars on their neck, and they have to kill each other in order to survive. Oh wait, no, that's Battle Royale.
Yeah, what? No, but they're put in this abandoned industrial park, and there are different sets. They have to survive 12 hours overnight on Halloween, and there are different killers who come at them.
And basically, the game is, for those aristocrats, Malcolm McDowell included, how long they last, and they're literally betting money against their other aristocratic buddies.
Yeah.
On the variables and the odds of this game.
And the odds keep changing.
Which is based on survival and brutality and, a horrific nature. And so it gives a, dare I say, fun setup.
No, it's
for
fun.
Your horror movie.
This is a fun movie.
Yeah, I mean, you have literal scenes you can cheer for in the protagonists, and when the antagonists come in, new characters unveiled. It almost felt very much like a terrible Stephen King-based movie, but one I love. From Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Oh, God, The Running Man is terrible.
The Running Man.
You're right, that is terrible.
No, but come on, you can see the parallels.
I can see the parallels, but
you can see
that's where it stops. But they're hunted by.
But come on, he had so many good.
Yeah.
He had so many good quotes in that movie. Come on, lights bright. Come on, Christmas tree.
Yeah. No,
what happened to Buzzsaw? He had to split.
Yeah. No, I hated that movie. Anyway. No.
Did you like the short story?
It was okay. And 31, though, the character names are cool for the killers.
Everybody's ahead.
Sickhead.
Hey,
yeah.
I like him too.
Yeah, Sickhead is my favorite. He's a how are we supposed to say it now? Hey, here I want to tell you something right now, people. I'm not politically correct, and I don't care. He's a midget who dresses as a Nazi with a Hitler mustache, who speaks Spanish.
Yeah, a Hispanic Nazi midget.
Sickhead, and he's my personal favorite. Well, you know what I mean, of the other ones.
Of the lesser,
yeah.
lesser heads.
He's fantastic. And I tell you, he has a scene with Sherry Moon Zombie where they're coming at each other, where in the theater anyway, I could feel it, man. The people around me, they're like, yeah, because she gets fed up. And that she's the first one to stand up to this guy, after he's hurt. And it's a visceral moment. It's wonderful. But there's the others, Schizo Head and Psycho Head, the chainsaw-wielding brothers, who I wasn't impressed with.
Nah.
There's a cool gore sequence during that.
Yeah.
I'll just leave it at chainsaw-wielding brothers.
Yeah.
But they didn't do enough with them. But they were better than Sex Head and Death Head, who kind of were just thrown in there.
Oh. Another woman right there, speaking of Sex Head.
E.G. Daily.
E.G. Daily.
E.G. Daily from Devil's Rejects. And Pee-wee's Big Adventure.
And you know what?
Dottie!
I mean, she was Dottie's in Pee-wee's Big Adventure.
Yeah.
And she's still looking hot.
She's gorgeous.
Yeah, no, I'm still really holding it together.
Yeah.
She was gorgeous, and to make her a sexy, iconic character like Sex Head, shows that she really can carry that role too. But the character itself was forgettable and barely on screen.
Exactly.
They showed up and died. And if I have a gripe with the film, spoiler alert, is that the antagonists were not strong enough to really be formidable for the protagonists.
I disagree.
Your protagonists outlive the antagonists like 3 to 1.
It's a movie.
No, but I mean,
otherwise the movie would be over in 15 minutes when that little midget Nazi Spanish guy would kill everybody. You know what I mean?
But you start off with 20 good guys and 3 bad guys and kill them down.
But
you don't start off with 4 good guys and 20 bad guys and kill them down.
But each one either almost kills or kills one of our lead casts before they bite it. If you think about it.
I don't think. Yeah, that's true. That's true.
But the movie belongs to one person.
Absolutely.
This guy, he's a character actor. He's around. He was on Game of Thrones. He's on a lot of stuff. He's a Brit, but he doesn't play a Brit here.
Paul Rubens.
Paul Rubens?
No?
He's not in this. No, sorry. No, all of a sudden you're Jim Norton's character on the Jim show. The opening era.
Paul Rubens.
Pee Wee Herman or something.
I was going to say, at least tell the people who Paul Rubens is.
Yeah, everybody knows who Paul Rubens is.
Yeah.
I tell you who really knows who Paul Rubens is.
Know what you do? You cut out a hole at the bottom of your popcorn bucket.
Yeah, right. Come on, Paul. Be smart. No, the movie belongs to Richard Brake, who plays Doomhead, who has an opening monologue that is as good as anything David Mamet ever wrote. It is wonderful. And everybody's kind of crazy in this movie. This guy gives a performance.
It's one of the best horror leads that I have seen in many years.
Yeah, he is good. And at least in my opinion,
intelligent,
instantly iconic.
You know, the scene where he goes and he punches himself in the face.
Yeah, to get ready.
To get himself into his character, to who he was.
Right.
You know, it's almost like he was transforming himself.
Yeah.
Transforming himself was really fantastic. Now, are there holes in this movie? Are there problems with this movie? Yeah.
Oh, and they're legion for a while. Yeah, there's a lot.
And again, he was talking about polarizing the crowd. Yeah, this movie will polarize. Some will love, some will hate.
Yeah, but I think most will love, because I think this is what zombie fans go to zombie movies for.
I agree. And
Rob Zombie.
And, you know, the central antagonist was perfect. Doomhead. If you don't... him, I loved him. I hated him. I had sex with him. No. But I got it. I understood where Rob was going with him. I agree.
Doomhead, if you come out of that movie and you don't like the movie, for this one we can't argue. I'll try to sit down and talk you into Devil's Rejects and Lords of Salem and to a certain extent House of a Thousand Corpses. If you don't like 31, we can't argue. But I guarantee you'll walk out saying, I didn't like it, but god damn, that Doomhead, that was good.
He kills it. He
kills it. It's literally.
Yeah, no. I mean, he owned that character from his opening monologue to his reappearance towards the end of the film, and just was in any scene he was in the most impactful character.
My favorite, of course, I'm not going to say it because it's currently in release. My favorite ending. My favorite last moment in any Rob Zombie film so far. The last shot, the last scene.
And you know what? I've watched it once. I really want to watch it again, but I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
And it's just a smile.
Mm-hmm.
Just a smile.
And that, you can't see me, folks, but that, the close-up of that. You know what I mean? We'll talk about it later, folks, when you've all seen it. 31 is a damn good film. It's a return to form, I guess. And by the way, look, I like it when directors take chances. Even if I would have hated Lords of Salem, I would have said, hey, at least he tried something different.
And which is one of the reasons that I said that I did like it.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, like I said, I'm not promising you'll like this film, but guess what? If you love horror and you even like some of Rob Zombie's movies, I think you're going to have a good time. This is a good time. And this is what horror should be. I mean, it's not scary. This isn't scary horror. This is a popcorn movie.
Yeah, no.
Get your nachos, your popcorn, and watch the fun.
Yeah, just see the sickening and be influenced by it. The carnage.
Because guess what? There's carnage, and there's 90 minutes of it. And you want a break? You're not going to get one.
And do you want to know why we started with this director? Because just look at his onslaught of films. They're all very different. They're all unique. And damn it, you feel something.
You do.
I've seen so many directors that have watched in and out of my life. His films I can talk about. I can give a shit about. And I'm glad that we chose him as our first topic.
It's a good first topic, and I'm glad we did too.
And Theater of Blood is in your face.
That's right. Theater of Blood is here, and we're going. And yeah, no, I'm glad we picked zombie as a first topic. Yeah, let's. I mean, we have no choice but to end on 31. It's his current movie. I was gonna say let's end it on 31. All right, where are we gonna go from there? Next week we're gonna talk about each and every one of his videos. Yeah. No, it is.
Living Dead Girl.
It's a good first topic. He's a good choice because it would have been easy to start with John Carpenter. It would have been easy to start with, well, we're going to talk about The Exorcist. It would have been easy to start with George Romero. That's easy. You know what I mean? That's simple.
Agreed.
Rob Zombie is not so simple because...
Well, it would have also been hard. If we'd have started with John Carpenter, it would still just be going and going.
Yeah, right. It would be a 2 or 3 parter.
And going.
Yeah, exactly.
And going.
But, no, Rob Zombie is the kind of filmmaker that can be discussed and broken down, and it's not just a love fest all the time. And
right.
And he's not someone in the genre world. Everybody pretty much likes Romero, Carpenter, Hooper to an extent, so on, so on. Not everyone loves Rob Zombie. He's huge, he's big, and he is loved, but not everyone loves him.
That's true.
And the ones who love him or don't love him really don't like him.
Right, or really love him.
Yeah, exactly. It's one or the other. And I really love him. I think he has brought something new to the horror genre, like you said at the beginning, while keeping it old.
Right.
And he certainly has his own voice. We knew that by Devil's Rejects. Like Halloween, work, not work, whatever, that is Rob Zombie's Halloween, unmistakably.
Yeah.
That is Rob Zombie's Halloween. He has his own style. He has a feel to his movies. He has a look. I think he's extremely talented as a director. Extremely talented.
And it's funny, like, the way he pulls from old 70s film, 70s, 80s, film and television.
Mm.
And he has a way of rethrowing that back in. You know, society has shown over and over again that we love to be reminded of the things that we used to love. You look at the success of Stranger Things right now. All it did was throw an 80s, 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 80s in your face, and people loved it.
Yeah.
And that's one thing Rob Zombie was good at.
Substance too.
Oh, no, it's fantastic.
That's important.
Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
I am a Stranger Things fan. I'm heavily anticipating the next season. I hope they can keep that magic going. The first season impressed the hell out of me. Like no television show has done in quite a long time. Don't get me wrong.
No, yeah.
But what I'm saying is, knowing how to do that throwback correctly is something Zombie has.
Exactly.
While doing something new. Same thing with the other side. They're showing us old while doing something new.
Right.
And that's something I can always respect, and I look forward to the next thing that Rob Zombie does.
Me too. I look forward, since The Devil's Rejects, I look forward to every Rob Zombie movie. Even after Halloween 2, I'm like, he'll get back.
And hopefully you'll be able to hear it from us.
Yeah, well, you will. And that's a good place to stop, really. We talked about him and what we like and don't like, and when this goes up, I'll make the Facebook page as well and put it up at the same time, and let's hear your thoughts. It'll be a while probably because we got to pull people to the group, but let's see. I'm in a lot of horror groups. I'll bring them in. We'll bring them in.
Please let us know what your thoughts are. You know, episode 1, can we improve? What can we do?
Well, episode 1, we're just feeling our way around, and it's late while we're recording this, but we wanted to get it out there.
I guarantee this is all edited.
Yeah, right. We just wanted to get it out there, and we promise we're going to have more structure on the show. Shows are going to be tighter, but we wanted to get this first one. Of course, we started it with talking about why we're doing it and a little bit about us. Then we got into Zombie, but our shows will be a little tighter, and we'll have segments, such and such. And like I said, we're gonna have contests and guests and so on, and so it'll be a different show. But we let this first one go along, and
magazines with centerfolds.
Yeah, we let this
it'll all be Anthony, unfortunately.
And less sexual references. No offense, Matt. I think in the future shows, I don't know. We've had a lot.
I make no promises.
Yeah, right. But we hope that you will all have a good time, and because I had a good time on this one.
Yeah, so did I.
And we'll have fun doing it, and we'll see you for our next episode.
Okay, so we really want to thank everybody who has tuned in to hear this, and all the people to tune in the future. This was a lot of fun to do. We talked about a director we both really respect, and hopefully we've inspired you, if you haven't seen some of these films, to go check them out and make your own opinion. And I just have to say that I am very humbled and thankful to my very good friend Anthony to creating this idea and bringing me along, and I hope you guys enjoyed the fruits of our labor. Anthony?
I'm verklempt. I can't speak. No, thank you. Yes, and I wouldn't want to do this with anybody else but you. I mean, we've done probably 500 to 600 podcasts just sitting around for hours talking about movies.
Yeah.
And then one day we finally said, we should do a podcast. We just did 2 out here, So
like just talking the ish.
Exactly. So yeah, it was fun, and thank you for saying that, Matt. It was very kind, and I feel the same way about you. Don't tell my wife. And we had a great time. We're gonna have a lot of fun with this podcast, and we hope you're gonna have a lot of fun too. Informative fun, but fun. So thank you, Boils and Ghouls. This has been the first Theater of Blood. Stay scared.
Oh, blood.
Yeah. Stay scared, stay fun, and we'll see you on our next show.
Bye-bye.